Hey guys, great to see you and welcome back to part 3 of Hotel California. Now, don't despair if you found the first couple of parts of this series difficult. If you keep chipping away at it, you will get there eventually. It's just regular practice, as we've already mentioned. Okay, now in today's lesson, we're going to take a look at the rhythm guitar on the 6th string and all the different possibilities. So I'd like to make this accessible to everybody, whether you're an out-and-out beginner or you're a little bit more advanced than that. There's going to be something for everybody, and this will help you get started on the rhythm side of the song. Now, when I come back with part 4, we're going to take a look at the 12th string, but like I say, for this part, it's all going to be based around the 6th string. Okay, now as ever, on the recording for the song, there are lots of different guitar parts, and we're breaking them down slowly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you all the chords, and don't forget that all the paperwork to accompany this lesson is down below. So you've got a chord arrangement and you've also got a chord sheet with all the chords that are used. Okay, so let's just get started and get the very basics of the rhythm down. Now the way to count this is just in 4s. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. And a chord will fall on the first count of each bar. So on the 1, right? So we'll play the chord on the 1. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how I'd like you to count it, and then that way it's a great way to get yourself started. Okay, so let's take a look at those chords. Now we're going to start out, because the song is in the key of B minor, we're going to start with a B minor chord. Bottom 5 strings, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next chord is an F sharp 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to an A major. 1, 2, 3, 4, to an E major. 1, 2, 3, 4. To a G. 1, 2, 3, 4. To a D. 2, 3, 4. To an E minor. 2, 3, 4. And back to an F sharp 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try that together. Now you know what the chords are, and hopefully you printed off the sheet and you've got everything you need to follow me. We're going to go nice and slowly, and we're going to do exactly the same, playing the chord on the 1. Okay? So after 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Brilliant. So if you've managed to do that, that's really good, because essentially what you've done there is you've played the intro to the song, okay, which is what the 12th string is played over, and you've also played a verse. So that's how the verses go, all right? Only it goes round twice. So you just repeat that figure and you've got a verse, all right? So not too difficult. Then we move on to the chorus. And for the chorus, we have G, 2, 3, 4 to a D, 2, 3, 4 to an F sharp 7, 2, 3, 4 to a B minor, 2, 3, 4, and then to a G, 2, 3, 4 to a D, 2, 3, 4 to an E minor, 2, 3, 4 to an F sharp 7 again, 2, 3, 4. So actually when you look at the song like that in its most basic form, the rhythm side of the song that is, you can see that it's not terribly difficult. Now that is a great starting point, and you know, even if you just go around that a few times like that, just playing the 1 strum, on the 1 of each 4 count. As I say, that's a great way to start out with the song. So hopefully you can see that that's not too difficult. And so once you can do that, you can look to flesh it out a little bit, okay? So more of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all I'm really doing there is adding a few more strums. Doesn't matter particularly what it is that I'm doing. What's more important is that in my mind I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do that, whatever you play rhythmically is going to make a little bit more sense, okay? Because if it's in time, then that's the main thing, as it were. So don't worry about whether it's up, down, down, up. As you know, I don't do any of that kind of stuff. We're looking to develop our style from our soul, from within us. We've all got something different to bring to the table, and I would like to encourage you to bring that out. Because how you play it is just as interesting as how I might play it in time, okay? So just keep playing it, and you'll find that it will develop, and the strumming will probably fall into place quite nicely as you do that. So we've gone from just a single strum to a more fuller strum. So that would be the second step in a way, just to try and fill it out a little bit. And don't forget, we don't always need to fill every space. In fact, that's a big mistake, really. You know, what we need to do as guitar players is leave a little bit of space for other things. And then when you play with other people, if you ever do that, you know, you're going to be ahead of the game, as it were, because it's not just about filling every space. It's about the spaces are just as important as what you're playing, in a sense. Now, we've been using a pick, right, just to run through these basic ideas. And you can kind of get closer again, so you can play a little bit of rhythm as well as kind of picking out a few notes, which will make it sound even more like the record. So for example, you can... Okay, so hopefully you can see that by mixing chords with just a few little kind of rake notes, you know, the way we have this kind of idea. And a nice way to do this is when you're playing the B minor, play this open E bottom string before you go to the F sharp 7. So you've got yeah, makes it sound a little bit more. When you play the A, take off that bottom finger, second string, like a, so you're playing like a hammer on, and then the bottom string before you go to the E major. And what you'll notice is when you go to the G, that's actually part of the song. So you're playing the 6th string, and then on the 5th string, open, hammer on, and then that 4th string open before you go to the D. And then you can kind of do an up strum for the E minor before you go to the F sharp 7. And you put that all together, you should have something like... So we've just gone from a single strum to playing something a lot more sophisticated. Don't get too bogged down with the detail. What's very important, in fact, what's much more important in a sense, is to feel relaxed about what you're doing. When you are feeling a little kind of relaxed, these things tend to fall into place the more you play them, okay? Some people can be too wrapped up in exactly what it is I'm playing rather than just getting a general, in that ballpark, as it were. Taking some of the points which I've pointed out to you about the little hammer-ons on the A before going to the A, and same with the G. And the change from the B minor to the F sharp 7. Sometimes we just want a few of those little details to make it, sound like the original, as it were. So that's what we can do with a pick, right? And, we can get pretty much in the ballpark there. Now, again, for anybody who's using their fingers, we can do a similar thing and we can make it our own. We don't have to make it sound exactly like the original. Some of you out there may be far more interested in taking these arrangements and trying to put something of yourself on them so you make them your own in a way. For example, if I play this song in a live situation, I never play it like it is on the record. It very, very rarely. For a start, I never play it on the 12 string much, to be honest. I'm always playing a 6 string, so I will adapt it from that point of view. Sometimes I might want to give it a real Spanish feel. Other times I want to play it more closely related to the original song. And it's nice to be able to do all these different things rather than just be like a one-trick pony, as it were, right? So, for example, if we're using our fingers and we're looking to develop our finger style, we can start out in the same way. Just using our thumb for the downstrokes. Get a nice soft sound. Just cycle through those chords, counting all the time in our mind. So we're in time. So we have the most basic, just kind of strumming with our thumb. And then we can that's just randomly picking any notes. I'm not trying to sound like the record. I'm just literally moving the fingers on my right hand to just pluck whatever's there. I'm not really thinking too much about it. What I'm thinking about is all the transitions falling in exactly the right place and counting in my mind. That should be our priority when we're playing these things, and you won't go far wrong. Now, again, we can start getting closer to the original. Sounds a little closer. So in terms of the end of the song, it's just played over a verse. Where we have this. Well, that's just all played over a verse. Yeah, so that's all that's happening there, really. Nothing new. So like I say, it is very much just verses and choruses that you need to think about for this one. And so just remember that you can play these things as simply or as complex as you would like them to be. But just remember that the more familiar you get with them and the more that you play them, the more likely that magic is likely to happen when you're playing them. So very often if I'm sitting around practicing something like this, all different ideas will occur as I'm playing them and things that may not have occurred to me before. Now those type of things don't happen unless you spend a long time working through these songs. maybe you can give that some thought as well, okay? Stick with these songs until you know them inside out. That's when they're going to start sounding great. So please share your experiences down below. It's always great to hear how you find these lessons and things like that. And I look forward to seeing you soon with another one. In the meantime, you take care.